it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I was saying, when I was spending a lot of time talking to Grok, I was sleeping really late because I kept talking to Grok all night.
Yeah.
But no, without something like that, no, I can sleep around 8 or 9. So I'm still getting plenty of sleep. And then I think part of why I'm waking up early and continuing doing that is, well, I keep taking 2-hour naps also. So I'm still getting probably 8 hours.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it's 5 at night and then 2 somewhere else in the day. I'd rather be sleeping at, like, say 9, waking up at 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I could probably go back to sleep because I've done it before, recently even. But my mind is already on a thing I want to do. And now I'm really awake. And I start doing that. And sometimes I get tired again, go back to sleep. Other times I went 3 or 4 hours like that, and now it's daylight, and people are talking to me. And how do you sleep like that?
Yeah. For me, I find I can't sleep 8 hours a night anymore. The older I get, the less I can sleep straight in a row. So
yeah, I heard that about what happens when we get older.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I average about 5 to 6 hours a night.
Did you used to do more?
Oh yeah, I used to go to bed at like 11 o'clock and wake up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Now I go to bed at 11 o'clock. I'm up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
I heard that, and I don't know if this is just a fact of people doing this, or if it's supposed to be this way, like we need it. Younger people need more hours of sleep, like let's say 10, 12, maybe even 12, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you need less. But I wonder, it's really not about age, and it's more about what's happening in the body. So when you're young, you're growing, there's a lot happening. When you're old, that's not happening anymore. And also, old people today, in general, on average, are a lot less active than young people.
Yes.
So, sleep is for recovery.
Yeah.
So if you have less to recover from, that makes sense. You sleep less. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the point.
Okay.
What should we talk about? Should we go through old items? Does anyone have something they want to talk about?
Well, I think we should cover just quickly what happened last week with last week's meeting, with our guest that we had here,
Dan.
Dan
from Senatai.
Yeah, Senatai. I think that was a big mistake not to, and we should try. I mean, it depends on the guest, but if we're going to have a guest on that has their own agenda, has their own system that they are trying to promote, they're always going to be confrontational, and I can be confrontational also because I have my own ideas on how.
If we were to be following Robert's Rules of Order, do you think it would have been better?
Yeah.
So maybe we should have said that from the moment he got on.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's the point.
Instead of trying to note, I'm the one that noticed we weren't following it, and then I said it without using the words Robert's Rules of Order. I said something like we shouldn't be talking over each other.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's not democracy. He understood that.
Yeah.
But if we had said from like the first minute, hey, let's follow Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't fully understand it, he'd be fine with it. And he'd be more willing to wait on somebody else saying, hold on one second. Yeah. He was talking over you. You were talking over him. I'm sure I did a little bit too. But I'm the one that's kind of stopped it and said, hey, this is not working.
Yeah.
But I think all of us should be willing to do that. Anyone, you know what? Imagine in private like this. I'm going to say it right now, okay, as a fake thing. We're not following Robert's Rules of Order. Just like that, while everyone's talking and no one's hearing anyone. Mm-hmm. And then maybe people would stop when they see, oh, shit, Robert's Rules of Order, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We'll try to bear it in mind right from the beginning. But if we're not, and then it should be brought up at some point so before, as things progress, because especially if they're, like you said, we're talking over one another and it's quite obvious. That should be the way we go. And you know, in this situation, it would have been obviously the best scenario if you would take the lead as or be the what do they call it, moderator, or the what do they call them? The
Yeah, moderator.
There's many names, but moderator is one. Yeah.
yeah.
I would rather use the name that is usually used in, you know, like if you even if you watch a comedy, a sitcom like Seinfeld, there's an episode of a bunch of old people who live in a old person community.
Yeah.
I'm saying this all bad and ageist. and you know, it's one of those, what do they call them? Homeowners association.
Yeah,
at least in the US, we call them homeowners association, and they have these meetings, and you see them doing it very formally.
Yeah.
All of that is Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah.
So I'd like to use whatever names they have, and you know, right now I can't think of it. Maybe I should watch Seinfeld again.
I know what you mean. There's a term that's very common, and it's not coming to me at the moment.
The speaker.
Speaker.
I think maybe
like
that's it.
Speaker.
I don't know, and you know, they're voting one guy off and putting another guy. All that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I know there's different names. I mean, in Congress or in the House, isn't it Speaker of the House? That's the role he's doing.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any control besides like controlling the meeting.
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
He doesn't have any more power than another congressperson, than another House of Representative person.
Other than
Yeah,
controlling the
only
meeting.
difference is he can.
Other than running the meeting.
He brings.
Basically, you can tell
bills.
someone he can talk while he can tell other people to shut up. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's about it. And I think
Bring
in
it to
Canada,
order.
at least,
Bring your order.
yeah, I think
Order
in
to
Canada,
the meeting.
I don't think they actually contribute at all to discussions. They never do. They just have.
And you know, from what I read about Robert's Rules of Order,
Yeah.
that person, that role is supposed to not be contributing to the ideas. They're there just to be a referee. So really, we could have done that. Especially since I'm not, like, I don't know KAOS the way you do. I know it's some.
Yeah.
And Dan knows Senatai. I could have been the middle referee doing Robert's Rules of Order while you guys argue your cases.
That's right. Yeah. And but
I would better than me helping inside.
And but I still think that you could contribute. You can ask questions and stuff. We're such a small group that you pretty much need to.
Well, one way that I did contribute last week is, I said things like, when I thought you weren't understanding Dan, what it looked to me like you were saying he doesn't agree with you on something, but what I saw was he did agree with you on that. So there's a talking past each other is what I saw. So it's not even me saying a thought about KAOS or Senatai. It's only a thought about how you guys are understanding each other or not.
Yeah.
So that's a very useful thing to do as like a referee.
Oh yeah.
And actually,
like a bridge.
A judge in a murder case with a jury and two lawyers, one for each side.
Yeah.
The judge during the case, not when he gives his decision. And actually, he doesn't really have a decision because the jury does that.
Yeah.
Or he has part of it. He makes a framework.
Yeah. Well,
Once
usually
again, he's just a leader.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say was the lawyers make arguments and the judge doesn't comment about the arguments or make his own arguments.
Right.
He just says your argument is wrong because of this illogical thing. Actually, he doesn't do that either. The other lawyer has to do that, and then the judge says, I'll accept that or not.
Right.
You know, like what is the words in the U.S. situation?
Sustained and overruled.
Sustained and overruled. Yes. So even if he had an idea that one of the lawyers was saying was wrong, the judge wouldn't even speak up. He just wait for the other lawyer to say something. And if the other lawyer doesn't speak up, well, the judge is like, well, I guess I'm not going to do anything. I'm just the ref. Although he still makes his own judgment at the end.
Well, usually he makes the judgment of what the punishment will be. Usually the jury just decides whether or not they're guilty or not. And if they're guilty, then the judge steps in and he says how much time you'll get or whatever the punishment will
Yeah,
be.
he declares the sentence.
Yeah.
Unless it's a capital murder charge where you're looking for the death penalty, then it's got to be voted on by a jury here.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. We're reviewing last week's meeting with Dan. We should have started with Robert's Rules of Order. And I want to write in here that we're comparing to U.S. House of Reps and also to I was going to say Seinfeld, but what's the
court system?
The meetings of House Association.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one we just gave? Oh, the
court system.
Judge in murder court with jury. With
Murder
jury.
court. I like that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard it that way.
I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah.
So I just said it the first way my mind knows how to say it. What do they call it?
The easiest way to put it would be jurist. That's what a judge is a jurist. He's just sitting there listening to both sides of the argument so he can get the facts. The jury weighs in, and then as the jurist, he passes sentence.
Okay.
All right, Dad's a retired cop. I played the legal game.
I wonder if I just had a thought. What if we did this? So we're having a 2-hour meeting, and I'm the referee. And suppose we said the referee does not contribute content. Like I shouldn't be saying, here's an idea KAOS should have. But let's say I did have an idea like that, and I thought, hey, can we switch referees for 5 minutes?
I suppose we could, but I don't think it'd be necessary, especially in a small group.
I'm just saying it's a way to get around the rule. Somebody's still a referee who isn't providing content, but it's switched for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that the current referee gets to do that. I mean, it's like, if that really is the right way to do it, then this solves it, I think.
Yeah, and I think I saw that is one of the ways that it
oh shit! I just invented an idea that was already in use. That's good.
I think so. I did. When we when you first brought up the Robert's Rules, I went through several different ways of understanding it or looking up how it's done, and they gave a bunch. I think ChatGPT is what they used there, and it gave a bunch of samples of various ways that it's dealt with, especially in smaller groups, like I was saying, because sometimes the person that's taking the speaker role also has some contribution, wants to contribute some. So, they have various ways of getting around that. And I think that was one of them, yeah. Yeah, they're taking turns within the meeting time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Go ahead.
It's like when you guys get going, I'm just sitting here listening to both. So, I mean, it's like I could easily assume the case of the position of, hey, guys, you're talking over each other and no one's paying attention to what the other's saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't do a lot of talking. I'm listening so I can try to hear both sides of the conversation and determine, well, is there something I want to put in?
Yeah.
I mean, my basis here is basically the website. I mean, I'm focusing on KAOS as a whole, but my main focus is on the website, getting the website where you guys want it, so it works the way KAOS needs to have it work.
So one way you could help there, though, is while everyone's talking over each other and you can't get a word in, say in private, you guys are talking past each other. You could also say you're not following Robert's Rules of Order. You could also say I have something to say and you guys are not listening. You could also say I had my hand up and nobody paid attention.
Yeah.
All in the private chat, because right now you can't talk because two people are talking over each other. It doesn't make sense to add a third person to that.
Right.
I have to say, from working from my phone, I don't see that chat unless I click on it. And when I click on the chat, I don't see you guys. So it's like I have to have one or the other.
So maybe the chat doesn't really work for our case because somebody's on the phone. Okay.
I'll see that somebody's saying something and then I can click on it. You know, like right now it's saying there's a message. There's one message there right now. What you just put in, I gather.
Yeah, but you can't read it right away. That's probably not good.
Yeah, I can't read it right away.
But he doesn't have the screen real estate.
Yeah. Putting up your hand also works. I know you're trying that quite a bit there during the other meeting last week, and sometimes but we always wanted to finish what we were saying before we gave you the floor. You know.
Yeah. And I'd like to say I think the reason somebody in your scenario feels like they need to finish what they're saying is something like you worried you're not going to be able to say it later, or
it's more
you're
like
worried they're going to say a bunch more things that then kind of ruins things because you didn't say your thing before their things.
Part of it, for at least I know from my point of view, I'll lose my train of thought, and I'm worried about losing my train of thought.
Notepad and paper right in front of you. Notepad and pencil right in front of you.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Yeah,
because otherwise you're just saying, "Hey, I got a problem. You guys solve it," and you're just throwing it at us.
Yeah. No, you just have to deal with what I'm saying, and I just keep talking.
Yes. You should solve it on your end.
Yeah.
And it's not like, we're at our, humans can't do this all right at the beginning. Obviously, we're born without even language. Then we have oral language, but not written and reading language. But the moment we have these extra skills, we should be using them constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anytime that is appropriate to use it and we don't, we're acting like a child.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's human nature, to be honest with you. We always kind of go childish when we're trying to make our point. We want our point to be right.
Yeah.
That's just human nature. Everybody does this, not just us. It's everybody.
Some are better disciplined than others, though. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but they'll still
we have
do
to
it.
learn is the point, and that's why I'm talking about it. So we develop the skills. Yeah. And I'm not, me saying this doesn't mean I don't think I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I think I do it wrong plenty. Like I could name something just a week ago with my kids that I acted in the wrong way. This kind of stuff.
Kids can push your buttons, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but I'll tell you. They're young. They need my help, and I want to help them. And what I noticed, and my kids noticed this too, and they said it to me. Because, by the way, they both take psychology classes now. They're old enough. That what's happening is sometimes they come to me asking for help, and because I feel like I need to help, and there's no other parent, I'm a single parent. There's nobody else. End up grudgingly doing it now while they're asking me for the help. Rather than what I could do, which is, hey, I can't deal with that right now. Why don't we talk about that tomorrow?
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't grudgingly be doing it when it's time to do it. And that's my fault for not saying, hey, right now doesn't work. Let's do it later when it works for me. Yeah. What I've been doing is just do it. And it's almost like I'm because I get frustrated, and I want to be clear about this. When I'm grudgingly helping them, I'm not doing that in a nice way. No, I look annoyed. My kids told me I'm condescending.
You kind of and then I realized,
and while I was thinking about this a lot and having meetings with them, I have meetings with my kids now. I realized, and I asked them too, do you think that when someone is condescending that they're being curious? I don't think so.
No.
Or at least not fully.
Yeah, no, not honestly.
Yeah, yes. And by the way, curious and honest are the same thing. That came up with my daughter too. When you're being curious, that's the same as being honest. Curious is you're curious to find the truth. That's what honesty is. You're trying to find the truth. So if you don't have curiosity, you also are dishonest in effect. So when I'm begrudgingly helping them and now I'm being condescending, I'm not being curious about like why they're acting the way they are. That I'm the thing that I'm annoyed about. If I was curious and thinking about why they're acting that way, I would be more quiet and just thinking instead of acting fast and being annoyed and wanting to finish it and get them out of my face. Yeah. So I feel like I've been doing this wrong for a long time.
It's a hard act to shuffle.
Yeah, don't feel bad. I did not do. I had a lot of problems with raising my kids, like with my own behavior. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of things I wasn't proud of, and like I said,
Same.
it can be tough. You know, I was really bad for raising my voice. You know, I almost never yell anymore because all the kids moved out of the house.
Oh, that's the reason? Not because you've mellowed out
Yeah,
or got
partly
more
I
skilled?
I did get more skilled. I did get better at it. But it didn't really stop entirely until they moved out of the house. And it pretty much stopped entirely. I can't remember the last. I still get
Well, yeah, you
excited.
can't yell at your kids when they're not there to be yelled at. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fortunately, kids don't come with operating manuals.
No. Yeah.
No. Well, they kind of do. Our parents give us the operating manual, and it's a shitty ass manual.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Oh
my
yeah, it's like
parents-
stereo
But
instructions.
but my parents' manual is better than their parents' manual, and that
Yeah.
manual is better than their parents' manual.
I think so. And,
In ge- and I mean,
Oh
on
yeah,
average.
it's an evolving process.
yeah. Yeah. It sure is. I think we do better than our parents did, as a general
At
statement.
least in this era, what do you think about 20,000 years ago?
Oh yeah.
20,000 years ago, there was very little improvement generation to generation.
I'm sure.
Like there weren't, like between my generation and my parents' generation, there was 20 years worth of psychology research that ended up in my environment that wasn't in their environment. Okay? And with internet delivering it to me.
Yeah.
And 20,000 years ago,
Yeah.
a guy and his parent generation, nothing happened in between. There wasn't 20 years of psychology research.
No. Yeah.
There was an internet to deliver it, non-existent thing. There was there was improvements, but it was stuff like, hey, I invented a wheel.
Yeah.
Great. Go do that and let's have wheels, but that didn't help with psychology or anything else. Or parenting or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're really in a nice time now.
Oh, I think so. People
We
like
get to benefit from so many people and we had no involvement in that. I didn't invent any of that psychology research.
there are so many people that talk about how bad the world is today, but any way you measure it, like I always like the example. A lot of people bring this up. What years in the past would you rather be born? You know, would you rather have been born? You know, I can see it.
I'd say negative a million years ago.
Yeah.
That means future million years.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was no better time to be born in the past. It just wasn't. I mean, maybe 50 within the last 50 years would have been not bad, but you go back 100.
You mean
or more,
on average, right? But let's be fair to the other side of this argument by saying what was easier in the past. Okay.
Yeah.
My theory, I don't really know. So 20,000 years ago, compared to now, shit, I'm already refuting myself. Okay, here was my thinking yesterday until I just thought of something against it. Today, it's really hard to function in the world. You have to learn a lot to function in the world well.
Yeah.
20,000 years ago, if you were 12 years old, you pretty much already knew what the rest of your life is going to look like.
Which was also
You don't know as much as the 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
But you know a lot. You know what your job is.
Yeah.
You know how you're going to make money, get food.
You
can get food. You can kill things.
Yeah.
You go on the hunts with the others, or at least you're starting to.
Mm-hmm.
You already, but today, a 12-year-old or even an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old going, holy fuck, especially now with the AI. Holy fuck, what career do I do?
Yeah.
What career isn't going to be?
That's one of the biggest questions right now. Yeah.
And, it was hard for my generation compared to 20,000 years ago. My generation was hard in the sense that, that same kind of thing. It's so complex in the world. What are you going to do? But now it's, in addition to that, like not even, I think even my kids are too old for this because they had ideas of what they want to do in life, career-wise, before the AIs showed up for real.
Yeah.
But go 5 years newer, somebody who's 12 right now, and being told in school, what career do you want to do? Which one isn't going to be taken over by AI or a robot?
Yeah.
And then that would, I think I wouldn't want to go do anything, or at least not a 4-year, $80,000 program.
Well, I think a pretty good answer, and I'm stealing this from just listening to Cory Doctorow. I don't know if you know who that is. I think I brought him up here once before. He came up with the term "shitification." That's his.
Say it again.
He came up with the term
"shitification."
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 Yes.
What's that mean?
And that's his most famous thing that he's known for. It means like once a company has you, and then you don't have another choice. You know, like Facebook or like, you know, or Twitter or Google, you don't have a better choice than Google, really. Everybody uses, up until now, with ChatGPT and all the rest of this, they had you by the balls. Where are you going to go, right? You have to use Google. So they can start reducing their services. So reducing their services or forcing you to do things you didn't want, eh? Adding more ads, doing things to you that you didn't want, things that you don't want. But you don't have a choice. You know, Facebook is famous for this.
Are you describing marriage?
Yeah. Marriage could definitely have some shitification for sure. Yeah, once you get into it and you're tied into it, yeah, that's
okay. So go on.
Yeah. So I mean, it suits a lot of things. I mean, it's a pretty wide term. There is a lot.
I'm lost on how you connected these things.
How I connected these. Oh, I was just bringing up shitification because I was talking about Cory Doctorow, and I was listening to his podcast the other day. He was doing a live event, and somebody asked him exactly this: What do I tell my kids to do? You know, for work. Like my kids are asking me, what kind of career should I look at? You know, with AI and everything coming. And anyway, Cory, first of all, he has the attitude. He doesn't think AI is going to develop a whole lot better than what it is at the moment. It will take a lot of jobs, but it's not going to become this massive brain that takes over everything. He doesn't believe, he believes that, and this is absolutely true, that it's a massive bubble, and the bubble is going to burst. There's more money being invested in AI right now than any other technology that's ever come along in the past. Like the amount that people are throwing into this thing without any returns. Nobody's actually making money on AI. ChatGPT is pretty close. They're the closest, I think he was saying. But generally, they're throwing money at this thing with no clear path to where they're going to make money. Excuse me. So anyway, so it's a big bubble that's going to burst, and when it bursts, it's going to be huge. You know, as far as money wasted. And there'll be all these servers and stuff that are going to be empty and not used and everything, because they're building all these servers right now and all this infrastructure. So anyway, but besides that, somebody asked him, what kind of job should I do? And I think he's absolutely correct with this. You know, generally a plumber is not going to go away. And there'll be one of the last jobs that robots can do is plumb your toilet and shit like this, right? And fix your plumbing.
How about firefighter?
What's that?
Firefighter.
Well, I don't know. They already have robots that go in and spray down fires and everything like that. So I think there'll always be firefighters, I think, but there'll be a lot more tech going into firefighting too. The other one he mentioned though is electrician. And then there's as an electrician.
Therapist.
For what purpose? Because everything's electrified.
Sorry. I said, how about psychotherapist?
Well, no, ChatGPT is becoming a therapist for a lot of people. So that's going to be an easy one.
Off the deep
I don't think it's as good as someone that actually has human experience.
I'm not going to argue that it's good or anything like that, but it is definitely filling a big void in there.
Sure, and it should fill a void because, by the way, you only see your therapist once a week.
Yeah.
It would be nice to talk to someone all week long.
Whenever you need
them. In addition to the human therapist.
Yeah. Whenever you needed them. So anyway, just to get back to the electrician, he was saying, and I agree with him 100%, that we'll always need electricians, and there are dual tickets in electrical. Like I know as a welder, you get a welding ticket and an electrical ticket, and it gives you a whole nother, it's a whole nother pay scale. They make more money than either single area. And it gives you, every company needs at least one or two of these people. They pay them more than everybody else. And so anyway, dual tickets like that are very sought after. So like you were saying, you can work in theater as an electrician. Theater, doing all the stuff there. They still need electricians. And then another beauty of it. So there's lots of dual tickets you can get, like welding or HVAC. And
so you're only talking about economy. When I said it's easier to know 20,000 years ago what your life is going to be like, as a 12-year-old than compared to today. It's not just economics. It's also things like how do you find someone and get married or whatever. Or back then it's a lot easier. All the people are visible right there. They walk out of their tents with you all the time. Yeah. Today, and I think it's even worse than 20 years ago, 30 years ago. A lot of people are just in their house and just doing this internet thing. Yeah. A lot of that's not even videos, just text. They see videos, but they don't get on any video. There's no communication they're getting that way. And so, and people are, all the places that people used to meet where they would end up, meeting someone and getting married, people don't go to those things anymore.
Yeah.
All that's way harder than 20,000 years ago. So, but what they had 20,000 years ago, maybe, because I'm talking about sources of anxiety right now, okay? They had a source of anxiety we don't have today. You're sleeping. Is there a tiger coming to come eat me or something?
Yeah.
Do you think what we have today is like significantly worse anxiety inducing than being scared of tigers 20,000 years ago?
In some ways, I do think it is worse. Yeah.
I think so too, but a lot of it is because of the lockdown we had. People were locked in their homes and couldn't go out, and the only communication they had was their computer or their phone.
So you mean like if so the comparison to 20,000 years ago would be if your tribal leader was like a really bad dictator, saying, and maybe sacrificing people, actual cut off head sacrificing people.
I think I think about this quite a bit, and I think that the anxiety is self-induced, and the lockdown, it's like we're still in a lockdown, but it's self-imposed. And even before the lockdown was in place, I think it was very much self-imposed.
Self-imposed? You mean for what purpose? You mean people are trying to avoid the disease, or self-imposed a different way?
Self-imposed because
people are trying to avoid people.
People are avoiding people. Here's how I've always put it. People have always tried to avoid other people. People would rather be alone and totally independent. And this kind of this touches on somebody that posted something the other day saying that we've lost our people in the past used to be far more independent. And actually, I'd argue, no, you needed your community even more then, because you would die. Maybe it was a smaller community. Maybe it was only 50 people or something, that you'd had in your community. But, you're right back in the tribes, right? In the day that we all lived in tribes. But you needed your tribe. Nobody can live without a tribe, right? We got more independent when we had overlords. Like when Rome ruled, people could live in smaller groups because the Roman guards would guard, there was always somebody you could turn to say that these people are treating me bad or something, right? There's less chance of roaming groups that would come and just kill you and take everything you own, right? So
I want you to explain that more, and maybe we should have a podcast about this.
Yeah.
Are you saying that before the Roman Empire,
when we were tribal,
there was no place that was ruled in such a way where you didn't have to worry about raiding?
Yeah.
Rome was the first one?
Well, maybe not the first one, but my point was,
okay, Rome was an example. Okay.
It was just an example. But if you had somebody ruling over the lands, and as long as you weren't pissing off the ruler, you were probably more independent than you were before there was anybody that ruled over the lands. because you had roaming groups that would come around and just wipe you out for no reason, you know, just to take all your stuff. And, some kind of ruler that had some kind of, control over this type of thing wouldn't allow that to happen. And so you could live in a smaller village and be able to survive that way.
And not need your own army. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. You not need your own army. Yeah.
And you're saying that made them more independent?
In a way. Well, you're dependent on the ruler to some degree, but you're more independent in the fact that you can live, with a small group of people, maybe just a large family group, and you wouldn't have to worry about big groups coming to wipe you out.
I think I see what you're saying. As we go into the future, we're dependent on the big infrastructure, but the more the big infrastructure gets sophisticated, the less I'm dependent on anyone right next to me, to the point that I can be just one person.
Right now, you can live as one person and never speak to anybody, even in
and you don't even have to make a phone call or even see a grocery store attendant, because you just order and it shows up. You don't even have to talk to the guy at the door.
Yeah, that's never been able to happen.
Just drop it off. I don't want to see you.
Yeah. In the last 50, 100 years, this has been possible, but before that, it was never possible. And so this is what I'm talking about: self-induced anxiety
and
loneliness. If you don't interact with people regularly, you get more and more anxiety every time you have to interact with them. What gets rid of it's just like a lot of things in life. If you don't have the exposure, it becomes more. You need practice, and if you're not constantly in practice, it becomes more and more anxiety-inducing.
So you're telling me, if for somehow, let's say I was in solitary prison for 10 years, not interacting with anyone, and then I'm out, I might have some trouble.
Oh yeah, well that's famous. That's a famous thing about prisoners that get out of jail. They just can't deal with the anxiety of having to deal with everybody in real life, in regular life,
because they're so used to
go back in
their own mind, not talking to people.
Yeah,
and they got used to that.
They got used to that. They'd rather be in jail where they know exactly where their meals are. They know exactly. They don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, there's a movie that described that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the main point though.
Yeah. So.
What's the movie? I'm trying to remember the movie. It's one word. Everyone. It's like the most famous prison movie.
To me, this is something we need to educate. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or the setting is the 50s, but it's in the
80s. There's several movies that kind of touch on that quite a bit about prison. Anyway, it's a well-known trope, really, about prison life and when you get out. So anyway, the point being that I don't think we educate people enough about this. I think they should be educated in school. I think just like you have non-smoking commercials on TV, there should be commercials about how you need other people and you got to get out there. And, this needs to be something that we push more. This is what I've always said, is that humans always want to get away from everybody else and be totally independent if they could, but they just couldn't in the past. And now we can. And so it creates our own bubble, our own anxiety.
Well, I think the reason that they're wanting to do it is because they're having bad interactions with people.
Well, yeah, but this is the point.
So they're trying to avoid bad interactions by
hold it.
Yeah, but these
You're
are
over talking each other.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. But well, that's the point I'm getting to, though, is that right now the left wants to totally get rid of the people on the right. They just like to execute them if they could. They like to separate. Everybody's talking about separating the United States right now, the rural from the cities or whatever, right? And my point is that shouldn't be an option, and it never was an option in the past. So you just have to deal with those people. You used to live in a community, and you knew this.
I say we should just get better at dealing with people.
That's right. You got to get better.
To the point where we're not having anxiety.
Yeah.
I should be able to go to a McDonald's and have an interaction with the cashier without having any negative feelings.
That's right.
And even if they act stupid,
yeah,
I should still not have negative feelings about it and recognize they got their own bullshit going on there. I don't need to put it on myself.
Like an absolute racist in your community, there's levels of racism, and you may be less of a racist compared to another guy, and you may hate his racism, but you have to see them every day when you work with them, or like you said, go to the store and the cashier is this person that you know has these attitudes. You'd just be nice to them still, and you'd be have your pleasantries. How's have a good
instead of
day.
being angry, you can feel sorry for them.
Yes, you can do that too. Yeah, or here's the other one: your bullies. You can't avoid your bullies. There's bullies in every town, right? And if a bully got bad enough, everybody would gang up on them in the community. But if they weren't that bad, well, then you just live with them.
Yeah, you have to learn how to stand up to a bully.
You either stand up or you don't. One or the other. You're going to live with them in your community, right?
Well, so let me give the example in online.
Yeah.
If you want to participate online in a discussion forum, you're going to sometimes deal with a bully. I call him a troll.
Yeah.
You should learn how to deal with trolls. That's assuming if you want to keep interacting online in a discussion forum, let's say without negative feelings, or because that's what trolls do. They're trying to sabotage the discussion. You're trying to have a discussion, they're sabotaging it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, people don't even know how trolls do that. Yeah. And they don't know when they're looking at a troll.
Yeah.
Because the troll does really well at hiding that they're really there to sabotage discussion.
Yeah.
Bully is a lot more clear. When we say bully, it's a lot more clear that they're bullying you. A troll is more underhanded.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to make the point, though, that it wasn't like it was utopian when you had to live with these people. I mean, it was difficult. We had lots of difficult situations, like bullies and things like that, or people you hated that you had to deal with, but you did it, and that made it so that if you could avoid that person every time you ran into them, you'd have extreme anxiety. Where if you had to deal with them every day, you'd have less anxiety with them, but it's every day. You know what I mean? So anyway, there's good and bad to it. But avoiding this entirely is what we can do now. And that adds to our anxiety every time we actually have to speak to anybody. They're not even a bully anymore. They're just an average person, but you're worried they might say something offensive. Like it's all in your head. You don't even get the opportunity to find out what the person's like. You've already made up your mind that you just don't want to talk to anybody, right? So we never had that option in the past. We just had to deal with it. And so there's good and bad about both situations, but I think right now we need to push the idea that we have to learn to get along with everybody. And
is that part of what KAOS is about?
Yeah, I think so. I think what it is, a big part actually, I thought about this a lot in the past, is we all, even the bullies or people we absolutely hate, we have some things in common, right? We have things in common with everybody. There's, we have somebody that's a total racist.
Also, that bully is not always acting like a bully.
Yeah,
like on other topics, they might be acting totally fine.
Yeah.
Engage with them there.
They could be an absolute racist or an absolute bully, but they also hate paying taxes for things that are not helping them, right? And you feel exact same way, right? Or they might hate, the way lobbyists lobby the government for certain things. Whatever it is, like we have things in common, right? So if we had a forum, like right now on Reddit is a great example, or Facebook or anything else, we get in our bubbles. So we're all liberals together talking, or we're all conservatives together talking, or whatever it might be, right? So we don't even know what the conservative view is on lobbying, right? Because we don't talk to them about it. We're only talking in our circle. We don't realize that they want less lobbying of the government as well as we do. So anyway, the point is, this is what I really like about the KAOS system is there are no siloed groups. So you put in the fact that you hate lobbyists and people there, and you could be a total racist, a total conservative to the nines or whatever, and an absolute racist or whatever, right? Even a Nazi. You could be an absolute Nazi. But people looking at that and seeing just that one comment, they go, I agree with that. Even though you're a Nazi, they don't even know you're a Nazi. They just agree with that comment, that one thing you said, that one opinion. So you're not siloed that way. And everybody, whether you're a Nazi, whether you're a liberal, no matter what you are, we're all upvoting that one opinion, even though it came from a Nazi, right? Well, you don't get that right now at all. You look at right now, a great example is Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She has turned quite a bit against Trump in a lot of ways. She still supports him generally. But when it comes to things like, what is it? Like the main one is the Epstein file, right? Or what's another one? She's really been coming down on Trump on. There's another thing that really surprised me. I can't remember what it was. Was it the immigrants or something?
Yeah, she said the immigration control's getting out of hand with ICE.
Or another one was not supporting Israel. She doesn't want to support the sending money to Israel for bombs, right? She's on our side on that one, my side anyway, where I look at it. And same with AOC. AOC is on the same position, but she will not work with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She will not upvote anything she says, even if it's exactly the same thing AOC has been saying all along, right? Whereas if it's in the case,
it reminds me of the way people start some sentences. They say, I hate to agree with X person, but, and then they say their sentence.
Yeah.
A statement that they agree with that person. Why the fuck are you leading the sentence with, I hate to agree with this person?
Yeah.
Fuck you!
Yeah,
We're saying shit like that. Fuck that whole fucking kind of fucking thinking.
Yes.
That shit makes me angry, and I guess you could tell.
Yeah, and it makes me angry too. Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest failings of our world today, is that we all agree on things, but we won't agree on them because we hate that person, right?
But they do, no, in this case, they do say it and agree with it, but they hedge first with disclaimer, I hate that I'm having to agree with this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
And they even lead the goddamn sentence with it, which means they're saying that's even more important than the fucking sentence.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah. And there's big topics. There's some really big topics like lobbying of the government that most people agree with, and these are big things that would make massive changes in our world. But even Nazis hate that. Nazis hate, lobbying our government. And so do liberals, so do communists. Nazis and communists agree on that, right? Nazis and communists agree on quite a few things that would make our world a lot better. And if we could just forget about the fact that they're communists or Nazis for a moment, or not even just don't pay attention to it. This is where I think
it's so dumb. It just reminds me of the people that say something like, "Oh, you did some bad thing that Hitler also did, therefore you're Hitler." Yeah. And then I always reply, "Okay, Hitler brushed his teeth, and I brushed my teeth, so I'm like Hitler. You're fucking stupid."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I had a conversation. I spent most of yesterday afternoon with my neighbor. He's a Trump supporter, but he's not part of the MAGA crowd.
Yeah.
But like I told him, there are some of Trump's policies he's trying to implement that I do agree with, but the way he's doing it is wrong.
Yeah.
And there's where my contention is. Yes, he's got some things I agree with. What I don't agree with is coming in like a bull in a china shop and just smashing everything and breaking everything all at one time just to get your point through. That's not how you work it.
But there is some middle ground. But there is some middle ground you can find with him about those issues, isn't there? Yeah.
I mean, he even calls Trump a Hitler wannabe.
Yeah.
But he supports Trump.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. There's people out there that do support what Trump stands for, but disagree with how he's doing it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with a lot of his policy, but a couple of his policy points I do agree with. But he went about it all the wrong way.
Yeah.
And Dodge was an example of that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we all think that the government has wasted spending, but that was not the way to fix that. Yeah.
No, and now he's almost added $3 trillion to our deficit in 10 months.
Yeah. He's not actually reducing any of that shit, really.
No.
Yeah. So that's exactly the point. I'm here in Alberta, And Alberta is, you know, like Trump territory outside of the U.S., like majorly conservative and very, you know, hell, a lot of us want to join America, and because of Trump's there, and so anyway, which I find funny because it's not like Trump is going to run the states forever. You know what happens when the liberals win there again? Then they want to leave. Well, we're going to come and go.
It's so weird how people put other people in groups and then judge the person by the group. And the way they put the lines of the groups is really ridiculous.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, someone came to my DMs in Reddit and said, "Where are you from?" Just started the conversation like that.
Yeah.
So I told him I'm born and raised in the U.S. This is how I always answer the question now, because people always mean a different thing by where are you from. Yeah. So here's how I always answer it. It's really easy in my case. Born and raised in the U.S., parents born and raised in Syria, Muslims.
Yeah.
So they get to hear where I was raised and also what my parents are. But where they were raised, really, that's all that matters too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe what their parents were, but it's really easy in my case. It's just those two things. So the guy judged that I'm Arabic. I am part of the Arab tribe, because the next sentence he said was, Turks are superior to Arabs. And there was a few other sentences before that, but he basically said that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You're almost white. That's what he's pointing out. You're just about white. You're a little lower than the Italians, but you're above.
You mean the Turks?
Yeah, the Turks. Yeah.
He was saying something like, you should look into this guy. I was okay. He was like, who's this guy? And then he gave me like a ChatGPT thing of who this guy is. Yeah. I was like, that guy sounds horrible, because what it was described in there is that he did a genocide in Syria, and he's a Turkish guy.
Yeah.
You know, the Ottoman Empire ruled that area, Syria, for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, sounds like a horrible guy. Why would I want to? Why is he a legend? He said he's a legend. Because there's bad legends too. Like, why is he a legend? Because he committed genocide? And he said, and that's when he switched to, the Turks are superior to the Arabs. And I'm like, why are you telling me? He goes, you're Arab. Okay. I was born and raised in the US, so I don't know how I'm Arab. But also, my parents, are they really Arab? They were invaded by Arabs. And their language was erased. And they were replaced with another language. Are we really Arab, my parents? I don't really know how to answer that. You know, the place where people say is Arab land. Well, Arab was just Saudi Arabia, what is today called Saudi Arabia, that peninsula. When Islam started, they invaded a big chunk of land, and a big chunk of that land became, you know, they erased the languages there and culture, and it became Arab culture. But that's not true either. They each mixed with the existing culture. That's why you have variations. So every area you're at is a mix of the culture that was there first, plus some Arab shit. But then you can go to the peninsula itself, Saudi Arabia. That wasn't just Arabs. There was tons of tribes there. Just a lot of them got erased. Jews were there a lot.
Yeah.
That's a different tribe than Arab. Yeah. You know, that's also not one tribe. There's many tribes. It is so dumb how everyone puts us in these little groups and then says, and then to fuck with him, I said, well, why does it matter if Turks are superior to Arabs? I'm superior to all of them. And you. I'm superior to you too.
Yeah, from my point of view, for sure. Yes.
Look at us individually.
Yeah. It bothers me now that it's considered racist to ask somebody where they're from. That used to be one of my. I moved to Vancouver for a couple of years. I live in Edmonton right now, and where I was born and raised. And Vancouver is a very transient city, and I lived there for 2 years, and almost every time I'd meet somebody, I asked them where they were from. It didn't matter what color they were or anything like that. Mostly, I was talking about where in Canada you came from, or where
region.
What region you're from, because almost nobody in Vancouver is from Vancouver, and only about I could count how many times on one hand over 2 years how many times somebody they said I'm from Vancouver, you know, and that would always start it. It was always just a conversation starter. It was all I was trying to do, you know, trying to be, and it wasn't a racist thing. If I asked somebody that was black, that I didn't mean that Africa or whatever. Where were you born is what I meant, you know, and you know, likely you were born in Canada somewhere. Most of these people I talked to, or some came from Canada somewhere, and it was interesting to find out where they were from, and it's just a conversation starter. And now I feel like I'd be an absolute labeled a racist if I went around starting conversations that way. I think that's pretty sad.
I want to give another example of how I noticed these weird lines of groups of tribes or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember being, I don't know, somewhere in Chicago suburbs, and I saw a restaurant, and then we were thinking where we're going to go eat. And my uncle, who's like me, Syrian, or my parents are Syrian, but he's lived here 20 years now. And I asked, you know, I saw Arabic writing. I thought Arabic food. And he said, yeah, but it's, and he names one of the countries that I don't know a lot about that is considered an Arabic country because they speak Arabic. And we go and eat there, and the food was fucking horrible. And it was nothing like what I'm used to, and nothing like what my mom cooks. My mom's food isn't Arabic, it's Syrian. And really, that's not even true either. There's differences between where she's from and 5 hours south of driving, which is Damascus. Their food's a little bit different. Yeah, there's some similarities. But also, we're pretty close to Turkey. We're almost like walking distance to the Turkish border, so it's also Turkish. There's a lot of similarities to just the Middle East in general. Some of our foods, like you'll find some of our foods in the Greek area. Mm-hmm. So me thinking that I'm going to like this food because Arabs eat it, that doesn't make any sense. And it also tells you that there's not a real thing that is Arab.
Yeah. There's a huge variety, yeah.
And I guess that would be the same thing about American. Like if somebody said or asked you, hey, what's your, I don't know, nationality or ethnicity, and you say U.S. American, well, that's not enough information to know anything. Yeah. You could be from the city or the country. Big differences already. Yeah. Could be I don't know, where should I go there? Like how differences, like there's huge cultural differences depending on where you live.
Oh, East Coast to West Coast is massive. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Midwest to the other two, East and West, is different.
Yeah.
Even Midwest to South is different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I live down here in the South in Texas, and we've got food that I'd never had before. I grew up in Iowa.
Let's say it more clearly. Canadians are more similar to Minnesotans than Minnesotans are to Californians.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh-huh.
So what does it mean to say American and Canadian then?
Yeah, yeah. In Canada, we found us to be pretty homogenized, except for the far east coast. Where, you know, Newfies are a whole other breed on their own. So
what'd you call them?
Newfies, Newfoundlanders.
I see. And isn't that French area?
I know. They are. They're a mix of I think Scottish and Irish predominantly, and it used to be French. I mean, Newfoundland's quite an interesting history. It used to be all French, and then they were kicked out. And they became the Cajuns that moved down south and live in New Orleans now.
That's what I mean by French. Is there another area in Canada that is?
They were kicked out of Newfoundland. They were removed from Newfoundland entirely. There were no more French in Newfoundland at all, and they're totally replaced. And now they're, like I said, Irish and.
What do you mean replaced? You mean like ethnic cleansing?
Yeah, it was definitely ethnic cleansing. Yes, they were physically forced out, and they moved.
Who did that?
The British. The British forced the French out because all of Eastern Canada was French at one time, and then they all got kind of corralled into Quebec.
What decades was this?
Well, when the
before
British
the U.S.
Really, right around the time or that time when the U.S. was.
So while the British were being booted from the U.S., they were booting the French out of Newfoundland.
Oh, even before that, I think. Before the English had taken over Canada, I mean, the first thing they did was boot all the French out of Newfoundland. That was the first thing, because they're coming from that side, right? So that was the first territory they hit, easiest to take over, was Newfoundland. So they took over Newfoundland, and then they moved to the Maine coast.
So why do you think that area culture is different than the rest of Canada? Like, what caused it, is what I mean.
Just their isolation.
Traveling is difficult to the other side. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're isolated. They stayed. They're the people that stayed in Newfoundland, and they were there long enough. And there were, like I said, a lot of Irish and a lot of Scottish kind of mixed, and they came up with their own language. I'm not positive about that, but I think it's a mix of the two, Irish and Scottish. And now they have a totally distinct language, distinct from everywhere in the world. And
they speak English and Cajun?
No Cajun. The Cajuns all left. They were the French that were there.
Oh, they're the ones who left.
They're the ones that left, and they were.
And they went to Louisiana.
Yes, they moved down the coast. Here's an interesting
the French Quarter in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's right. And
hey guys, I'll be back in just a second. I gotta go there. Go take care of some business.
Yeah, you do that. So yeah, they moved, and then the Cajuns, when so the French were kicked out, and they were looking for some place that would not kick them out anymore, and so as they moved down the East Coast, nobody wanted them, and they couldn't settle anywhere until they got to New Orleans, which was all swamp, and they had to live in the swamp lands that nobody else wanted. That's how New Orleans started. That's the French Quarter.
Is that still swamps now?
Yeah, there's a lot of swamp around there, from what I understand. That's why it flooded. It's also low land, and it's all reclaimed land. You know what I mean? They built it up to make solid land there.
You mean nature is reclaiming it?
Nature is trying to reclaim it now. Yeah.
Is that what you meant by reclaimed? Oh no, that's what I thought you meant by reclaimed. That nature is reclaiming it.
No,
by throwing water on it again.
Yeah. But they tried to build up areas to get it out of the water, and that's where they lived, so that's why it floods so easily. That's my understanding of it. And so that's where the Cajuns came from. They used to be Newfoundlanders. And then so another interesting part is, a little further out from Newfoundland, off the coast, there are still islands there with French that the English didn't bother taking over because they were just too small. And there's Cajuns that live there as well. They call themselves Cajuns, I think, as well. And they're part of France. France still owns those islands, and they're just off the coast. Yeah, they're just off the coast of Canada. There are.
Come on, you mean if I look at a map, it'll say France to us in Canada?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know. And I'd only learned this just a few years, 10 years ago or more. But I was amazed to find out France has land still right next to Canada. They're tiny communities. They're really small communities. Like some of them might only have 50 or 100 people on them. And the English didn't bother taking them away, taking them back from France, and France just stayed there. And so, yeah, you look at a map. There's French islands.
Do you think Google Maps will indicate that?
Yeah. You should.
I'm looking at the coast of Newfoundland. I don't see France anymore.
Go further out and zoom in. Any islands east of Newfoundland, you'll find are probably French. There's some that are Canadian, but there's some out there that are French still.
Islands of Newfoundland that are French. Anyway, we should get to some meeting issues. I'd like to get off early if we can.
Okay. I suppose one of the things I should bring up, I suppose, is what did we call it now? The thing I was supposed to write, and I still haven't done it yet. I tried it a little bit yesterday, and I was just drawing a blank. I had to give it up. It just wasn't working with me. But
remember, you don't have to write anything besides bullet points. They don't have to sound good or anything. We'll just use ChatGPT to take your bullet points and inject them into the proposal.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll try to get on. I'll try to get on that this week. And I'm sorry, I just haven't put much priority on it. And like I said, I tried yesterday for a bit, and I went over what we talked about last week, which was a little bit about what it should be, not a white paper, but just a bullet point type of thing. And so anyway, I'll get back on it this week here, and I'll see what I can do with
But
that.
again, you don't have to write the format. You're just writing ideas in bullet lists.
Yeah.
And then once we have the full set of ideas, then we can choose where to put them, whether in the proposal or if we decide, oh no, it's too detailed, we need it rather in the white paper.
That's the term that I wanted to use. Proposal. Yes.
Proposal.
That's what I'm trying to write. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, just to fill you in, where I am with that is nowhere yet, but I haven't forgot about it.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I was in the same boat. I was in the same boat working on the website today. We had a lot of important stuff we had to take care of here at the house, so I didn't get a chance to work on my skinning or anything, but I am working.
Yeah.
ChatGPT called it something different. Project brief.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's like a proposal, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much sounds similar to what I'm trying to write. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so what was it a few weeks ago? There was a guy that had some questions, and boy, I had a hard time trying to answer him on the website. When I clicked the link that you provided me, Edward, I was able to answer that guy. But then when I go to the website, just punching in KAOS Now, and I go to the website, I couldn't find the conversation anywhere. So I found it when you gave me the link. I don't know. Maybe it's just the phone not accessing it properly. Maybe if I was doing it.
It could be you using an iPhone.
Yeah.
Using Safari for your browser.
Yeah.
Safari has been having issues with our website. I get the same thing on my phone.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is download Firefox and try to access it and see if you get the same results.
Yeah.
But just use I think it's something. Yeah, I think it's something dealing with Safari.
Okay.
But if you're just going to the web page and you're seeing the main thing, once you log in, it should take you to the forums. Because I just logged in and went right to the forum.
Yeah. But you're doing it on the computer.
Yeah, I haven't tried it on the iPhone to see how that works out. I'll have to look into that. But with the new software I'm working on utilizing for the website and that, there's going to be better integration. And I did find out, just to calm your nerves a little bit there, Rami, we have AI agents available in the new software. So you can access AI directly from the website.
Cool.
And what
to do what kind of things?
Yeah, to do what?
Well, that'd be a case of you can go in there, and if you don't understand something, you got the availability to ask, like, put this in stupid terms for me. Make it as layman and simple as possible. Or you can even use that as like
system prompts to that AI agent. Nice.
Okay.
Yes, and it also works with our search function to search through the forum database and that.
Okay.
So now I do know we have been averaging about 7,000 hits a day from AI bots on the website. They're scraping the website to learn. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, hopefully that makes it easier for people to find it when they look.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But just so you know, I mean, that the bots do put the tax on our bandwidth on our server. There's no way around that if we're going to keep it open like that. That's just something we have to deal with. But there is an injection point there that does not allow the AI to post anything. You know, they can't start a conversation or anything like that. It's only used if the person specifically types in a prompt.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay, then, guys, I'd like to go so I can rest up. I have an important meeting in 3 hours.
All right.
Delivering my presentation for EELS. Ex-Muslim Advocates Learning Series. It's the weekly live stream and discussion forum.
All right.
We're training the next generation of ex-Muslim activists and advocates in our cause to end apostophobia and apostasy laws. Hopefully I sound more excited than this.
Yeah. Well, you sound like
you're exhausted, man.
Yeah. You do sound like you know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it so much and talking to a lot of people about it, and 2 people one person in Ex-Muslims International was helping me, and she's a better marketer than I am, making language and stuff. And then I spoke to another person unrelated to EXMI. She wrote a book and she asked to be on my podcast, and we had a little meeting before the podcast. And I told her about this program, and she already started giving me ideas. Yeah. And I mean better language, like not even just language. You know, the idea was originally advocates is more general. And the idea was, you know, some people don't even want to go public. Should we help them too? You know, because they're trying to argue things with their family and local community. Yes, we should help them. But then what this person came up with is even more than that. An advocate is anyone, even if for someone that wants to advocate for their own well-being with their loved ones and local community. So it's not even just about trying to help their loved ones. It's about trying to help themselves while they interact with their loved ones. And she came up with that on her own when I said, and I barely said much to her. And so my language is improving by talking to these 2 people. And in this meeting, it's going to be talking with everyone, and I'll continue talking with everyone. So it's going to keep getting better, but it's pretty damn good right now. And I've been using ChatGPT some, you know. Yeah. I already made a lot of it. Anyway. All right, guys.
I just, before you go, you reminded me of something there. You notice I made that post on that guy's subreddit. What's his name? Duncan Trussell. He's quite a weird character. Actually, he's pretty crude, but I do find his podcast somewhat entertaining. He kind of waxes poetically like some guru, but a guru that knows that he's not really a guru. Anyway, he's just kind of making fun of himself. He's a comedian, and so anyway, he's quite all about himself to some degree. But anyway, he's a much smaller following than a lot of people, so I thought I'd give it a try. And then the other fun thing I found interesting about him is that he's very active in his subreddit, and I think he even created his own subreddit. So I think he's the moderator of his own sub, and he's very active on Reddit, where I like to be more active, right? So anyway, so that's why I kind of hit him up there. It doesn't look like he didn't respond to me at all there. I made another post about something he was talking about on his show, and he did respond to me there. Anyway, I don't know if I'll get anywhere with him, but that brings up the fact, though, that, and if you guys think of any podcasters that are, and I think he's even just too big to give me any real time of day, you know, he's not as big as the big podcasters, but he does have quite a following. And so I think I wanted to try to target maybe podcasters or influencers or any type that just are in the, like, maybe have 1,000 or a couple of thousand followers, you know, like just very small, but would be open to these kinds of ideas. You know, the reason why I felt he might be open, he had a very good podcast, a couple of podcasts of series of talking about after Charlie Kirk's death, about how we all need to get along, and we all got to love one another more, and we shouldn't be, wishing for people to be killed and stuff like this, right? And I was hoping that democracy. My post, that's why I called it, is democracy even, is there a connection between love and democracy? And I really think there is. Personally, I really think there is. So, to create a more loving world, and more understanding world. So anyway, so people that are very, want to cooperate with society and very much want to, put more love into the world, more cooperation in the world, more getting along with one another. Anybody that has a small following that kind of preaches that type of thing, I think might be a good candidate, So anyway, just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you know anybody that's doing, that is not bigger, or you hear of any or anything like that, that's those kind of people I think I want to try to reach out to, and then work our way up. And I mean, it would have been great if I could get his attention somehow, because he's really good friends with Joe Rogan. And man, if we could get on, something like Joe Rogan, that would be everything,
Well, we shouldn't get on Joe Rogan yet, even if we had the chance.
Why?
Because for one, we should have the proposal.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And the fully functional website, the way Edward is describing when we switch to I forget this other system.
Yeah.
Drupal and PHP.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're gonna get on Joe anytime soon. So, but let's start working up.
Anything to worry about? Sure.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about it yet. But anyway, working our way up, I think, is the thing to do, right? And start with somebody smaller, and they're always networking to bigger people, and they almost all of them will have some connection to more famous people, and if they like what we're saying, hopefully they put in a good word, and we can work our way up like that. So anyway, just throwing that out there, guys. That's kind of where the angle I'm looking at right now. Right?
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Yep.
All right.
You
Bye-bye.
too.